Hello YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. This video is going to be about just basically rating some board games. I haven't really talked about this really before. Um, just, I mean, uh, I'm sure there's the board games that we played when we were little, and I'm not going to focus on those too much, really. Not really. Yeah, but then, so there's a lot of things to consider with all these board games. And of course, there's a ton of board games I'm not going to go into or talk about too much. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. But one of the trains of thought is, I'll mention this. Maybe I'll mention this more a bit later with the board games. So basically, the games I played when I was little. Some of them, so Candyland. Hi-Ho Cheerio, Snakes and Ladders. I just can't remember that. I can't remember them very well. Of course, Candyland is so basic that, I mean, anybody can play it. But those are all fine and good, right? And then Mousetrap is another game I played once, but I can't remember how it really works. But it was kind of fun setting it up. It's just kind of delicate, and I don't know. So. Okay, let's get right to this here. So most of these games are going to be a little bit more for older kids on up, right? So Monopoly, I want to give it a 7 out of 10. Why? I mean, any game that involves cleaning people out money-wise, right? Playing Cutthroat. There's some games that are much more that way than others. Monopoly just eggs on that sense of competitiveness. And a lot of people say they're competitive, or that competitive competition is a good thing. And, well, that's probably why, sometimes you get upset if you really are, I've got to win, I've got to win, I've got to win, I've got to win. Or you don't get like someone's attitude in Monopoly. That's why I give it a 7. It just can't compete with some of these other guys. It's too competitive, right? It's too, yeah. Now, I don't care what Donald Trump thinks. I'm sure he can think of what as well as he wants to with Monopoly. That's Donald Trump, right? But that is kind of a Donald Trump type game, let's be honest, So, okay, Risk. I gave Risk an 8. It's a little bit more basic than another game. I'll let you hear of it. I like it quite a bit more, but Risk is not too complicated. There's a lot of chance, but some strategy. Good mix of chance and strategy, I guess, the game and world domination and sort of thing. I gave it an 8. I actually think you might think it's competitive like Monopoly, but in a way, yeah, actually it is, and that's maybe one of the things why it's still keeping it from being higher, but it's just kind of, I don't know. It's not, at a certain point. It's just not very interesting, in a way. I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it, but it's just kind of, there's a lot of luck involved in Risk. I'll put it that way. So I could give it maybe a 7, maybe it's between 7 and 8. Chess is definitely an 8, where it's very strategy based. It's complete strategy. It's hard to top chess. Instantly, I didn't put checkers down here, but if I did, checkers is so chess is an 8. Checkers is like a 4 or 5 in comparison. It's ridiculous. It's pointless, my opinion. There's some that are kind of like this and like that, and they get lower scores here. So, but chess is great. But again, the reason why it's not always a 9 or 10 to me is just hard when you're playing against someone who's better than you, and you're trying to learn things. And boy, it just teaches you patience and discipline. It's just not always very fun. It's very academic. It's almost academic, But it's great. It's great for your IQ. It really is great. So wonderful for your IQ. So I mean, it's it's like math and music and stuff. Okay, so Scrabble gets an 8. The more you like, kind of like yeah, the more you like language stuff, the more you like Scrabble. But it's not as it's not quite as taxing in a way as Boggle. But yeah, I gave Scrabble an 8, a solid 8. It's maybe a 7, but it's really fun to find. It's really fun to all of a sudden have to find the Z, the Q, and the X, and you got the perfect word. Maybe not all three of those, but like you got the triple thing word score. And yeah, it's pretty fun. Battleship is a 6, maybe a 7. It's not quite as base. It's not quite as predictable as it's not quite as well. Basically, there's a lot of luck involved with Battleship. But recently, one night I played Battleship quite a bit, and I played enough games just that one night. It was really quick. I got really a lot better Battleship really quick, really quick. But once you got those basic strategies, there's not really a heck of a lot to it. Um, so I only gave it a 6. Trivial Pursuit, because of the nature of the questions and what I'm interested in, it only gets a 6 as well. To me, I know some people like it more. Backgammon, I gave it a 7. There's a little bit more strategy to it, but not quite as much as, say, chess. But it looks kind of cool too. Looks like little, I don't know, poker things. I don't know. It's kind of cool. So then you have Operation. I'm putting some duds in here along with some good ones. Operation, to me, this is where it gets into the aesthetics a little bit. So I can mention aesthetics with Candyland and Mousetrap and Hi Ho Cherry, Snakes and Ladders. Right off the bat, I think one of the trains of thought is when you have a board game where there's a lot of emphasis on color on the board, you're going to notice that color, those bright colors or color schemes. Candyland is very colorful. That's one of the reasons why you want to play Candyland with little guys, little kids, right? It's just so colorful. It's fun, right? It's really just it's very fun. The board itself looks really fun, and you want candy. So kids especially, but yes, So Hi Ho Cheerio, lots of green and red. Cherry trees, it's very fun. Snakes and ladders, getting into that kind of tan brown area a little bit more. So yeah, but that's And then Mousetrap was kind of solid colors, some wood colors, silver things, metal things. Kind of a little bit of. It was a bit more. It's almost like playing dominoes or something, where you just I don't know. But in a way, Operation's kind of like, Mousetrap. Well, there's or like Jenga. I didn't put Jenga in here, but Operation is all about how still can you be when you're extracting these things from the guy's body. The thing about Operation is it's kind of nasty, right? It's just nasty. I mean, like if you have a strong, it's like I'm not a doctor, but if there's no way I could. I'd want to be a doctor, but it's just turns your stomach, right? Who wants to play a game that turns your stomach? It's like who has the most capacity to be a doctor here? Who has the most? And then anyway. So I only gave it a 5, but I was a little rough on it. Maybe it has certain. I mean, it really is kind of a doctor game. It's a game of doctors, surgeons. Guess Who? I gave that one a 7. But it's been a long time since I did play Guess Who. But I always got a kick out of the faces, the way the different faces and expressions, and that was probably one of the funnest things of the game. Just looking at all the different types of faces, people. Yahtzee. I think actually there's another game like Guess Who that I might like even more. I'm getting some of these mixed up. I do it. Yahtzee 6. Once you play it when you're younger, it's absolute chance. Mostly chance. Uno 7. Very much chance, but it moves fast and it's fun. It's good. It reminds me of family reunions basically. Stratego, I gave it a 9 because strategy is right there. There's so many things you can do with Stratego to make it. It really is fun. Fun. It really is. It's one of the funnest games I've ever played. So yeah, absolutely 9. Connect 4, gave it a 6. At a certain point, there are Skills. I mean, there's strategies involved, but it's kind of, it has its limits basically in that regard. Uh, so Axis and Allies, I gave it a 10. It's the only game I hear it has a 10. It's just because it takes forever, I know, but it's so historical, right? It's gripping, it's intense, right? You might think Monopoly is intense, but Monopoly is kind of just mean sometimes. Right? It's just poor rich. If you lose an Axis and Allies, it's no big deal. You can always play again, and I mean, like, you can always go do other things while people are playing, taking turns, or you can. It's not the Axis and Allies really is fun. It really is fun, and yeah, I mean, it's just you don't feel like you really lost if you lose. You don't, no matter which way it goes. Um, I don't know why that is. I think it's because maybe it's because the World War II already happened. It already you guys won, so now we're just it's just a board game. Doesn't anyway. I don't know. I see some people. I could see some people ranking it lower, thinking it's more competitive of a game, and it could be, but it's best to view it kind of more just military. If you're in the mood to kill tanks and stuff, not kill tanks, blow them up. I don't know. Anyway, so Boggle. I only gave it a 6 because I'm just not very good at it. If I played someone who has been very good at it, I imagine I could say the same thing for like chess, perhaps. But chess, I'm getting some of the knack of it a little bit, but it's very intriguing. Boggle is just how many? I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm like, but maybe a high 6. Blocus is another game. I think it's great. A lot of strategy behind it. I gave it a 9. And also the colors are really nice too. Blocus. Twister, only gave it a 3. The reason why Twister is ranked so low is because, well, okay, I'll put it this way. All of these are board games, right? All these games are board games. Twister is not really a board game. It's a activity, right? It's physical. I'm not going to go down too many certain trains of thought here too much, but basically it's something like this. Well, it kind of depends on who you're playing Twister with and why, but I won't get into that too much, okay? Basically, if you are playing Twister with some people that have very bad foot odor, not a good idea. If you're playing Twister with people that aren't very physically agile or flexible, some more obese folks, it's not fun for them, right? They probably wouldn't want to play it. Or if you're playing also with some really agile folks, really flexible folks, they're much more than you are, then you'll feel like the guy who's out of shape or fat, and that's not. But anyway, a lot of times, aside, or the guys that it's kind of if you're in certain body positions, it's a question of how long can you physically hold up. Okay, so there's obviously something I'm avoiding here, which I'm sure you guys are picking up on with regarding Twister. Now I've never played. Of course, I've never played Twister this way. Twister has an element to it that is, well, shall I say sexual? But it's, like I say, I'm not going to go there. But, I don't know. Twister's kind of different. It's an entity in its own. I'll put it that way. But, yeah, I'm just not crazy about it. But I'm not going to go down that other route looking at that game. So, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, so, okay. Game of Life gets a 4 because it's kind of like it's like Monopoly but worse. It's not really that competitive. It's like you're going around a board. It's nice, but yeah, you get thrown with all these things. The thing is that life can be very sobering. There's a lot of things about life that are very tough to go through. Why would you want to have life be a game? Some of these things that happen in life, and just it's like, oh, maybe it's a way of looking at life in a more lighthearted way. Well, what's the worst that can happen, right? But I don't know. It hasn't aged well. Who plays the game of life anymore? I mean, I don't know. So I'll give it a 4. I don't know. Sorry, with an exclamation point, I gave a 7, but I can't remember how the game goes very much. I just remembered it was pretty fun. Maybe an 8. Reversi, fellow, I like that game a lot. I like the strategy of it, and we gave it an 8. And yeah, it's a strategy type game. Mancala, the only reason I gave it only a 6 or 7, I should give it a 7. It just doesn't look very visibly, doesn't grab your attention. Doesn't it's all about the strategy. Strategy. There's a little bit of luck, maybe mostly strategy. And yeah, maybe you feel like you're in Africa with all the wood and eat. It just depends, So anyway, so it's not bad. Shuttles is kind of a discovery game. I think that one gets a 7. You move around these little pegs and things. Maybe, it's in the ballpark. Again, there's a lot of good games I haven't talked about. Like First Reverse, I think, is another one that's kind of an educational game. That one really, it's not competitive, and it's fun to play not competitive games with people because then there's no bad feelings, there's no hard feelings afterward. So for that reason, even though it's mostly luck in that game, pretty much, it's I give it a solid 7 actually. If you're really having a good time. And there's all kinds of other games. There's the I won't get into the party game, but I don't really like party games at all, very much. So. Anyway, hope you guys liked this video, and maybe probably triggered some memories, and there's somewhere. So yeah, Axis and Allies is my favorite board game. There's a certain edition, the original edition. That's the one. But Axis and Allies. Then probably after that would be Stratego and Blocus, almost tied. Then all the 8s, Reversi, Scrabble, Chess, and Risk. And there's probably some of those other ones I'm not thinking of that would be pretty cool as well. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye.